Fourth question, if any, please. If there is a fourth question. Pan?
No more.
No, thank you. No more to train. Yes, please, any questions from the men's side now?
So last Saturday, you were asked a question about the morality and absolute morality, and then it so happened that some question was asked from the Switzerland, and you so beautifully related everything with the absolute religion and absolute morality, and it seems to me that it was a new subject which you have really enlightened us. Would you really continue? Because that was left halfway.
Was it?
Yes. And this
So
was
where it was left, you pick up the thread from there and I'll start answering the questions from there on.
no. If I will go back, that will be not justice to you, sir. But I want you, whatever you feel, say.
No, but I think it will be justice to you if you go back. I want to do justice to you.
Relating the morality to every situation which occurs in the world now, because it seems to me that the cure for everything nowadays is the absolute morality.
Exactly, that is correct.
And this subject requires really to be discussed more.
Yes, its applications are so wide that if you begin to illustrate, there will be no end to this discussion. So this is why I just gave you the fundamentals.
That's right.
And gave you a sort of key which can unlock many locks if you apply this key which is provided to us by Islam. Absolute morality is a very important thing. Unless you define morality as an absolute value, you can never create an atmosphere of peace in any region. That is what I said.
That's right, sir.
And that is what I mean. And I am speaking from not just from theory, but I know I have applied this to every situation and I have always come out with the same answer. That absolute morality, in fact, controls and governs every situation in the world in which human life has any interest. And this is, as I mentioned there, in my opinion, absolute wisdom. Absolute wisdom and absolute morality are one and the same thing. And without wisdom you cannot save mankind. Al-Hikmah, which is perhaps called Buddha in Buddhism, Buddhi or Buddha, yes. They are close to it, but not entirely, because that book was a much earlier book, as we believe it was revealed by the Buddhist teachings. I mean, that was revealed by God to Buddha, and he was a messenger of God. But later on, people corrupted their teachings and also distorted their own history. In fact, it had to be like this because in those days, first of all, he came about 500 years or more earlier than Hadhrat Masih. So that is about 2,500 years almost. And some people say more than that. They put the age between 500 and 1,000 years earlier than Hadhrat Masih. Some say it is 600, but let's see. That is a very, very long distance as far as the human annals are concerned. Records, historical records are concerned. And particularly it's a very long period in that region of India where, or Nepal, I mean that region of the east where Hazrat Buddha came. Because they, in the first 500 years, they did not keep any written records of his sayings and things. So Buddha, as we understand, as we believe, was a messenger of God, but his teaching was not as perfect as the teachings of the Holy Quran, because it was the final consummate teaching for the whole mankind. Yet it has that light and beauty of truth in it. And ultimately in Buddhism also this is accepted, that morality and wisdom are one and the same thing. Instead, they don't call it morality at all. There is no morality in Buddhism. All that is wisdom. So absolute morality is absolute wisdom, according to me, as I have understood the Holy Quran. And the Holy Quran gives absolute morality. This is why the Holy Quran defines those with wisdom in connection with their godlyhood, or with their God-fearing standard or quality. A man who is without God, who has not relationship with God, cannot be wise. A wise man is the one who has his relationship with God. This is the definition of the wise man according to the Holy Quran. For instance, in the verses so often recited in the Ahmadiyya mosques, إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. There are signs for the wise people. Now the things described before this, the wise people, have apparently nothing to do with religion. They are scientific observations. فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, in the creation of heaven and earth. وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ, and the changes of days and nights. لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ, signs for the wise people. Now one immediately begins to think that the following verse would lead to scientific discoveries. There are such wise people who understand the phenomena of nature and things, but it suddenly makes a somersault. And the definition of these wise people is not those who understand the phenomena of day and night, the phenomena of creation. الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ. The wise people are those who day and night remember Allah. يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا, standing and sitting, day and night. And the conclusion they draw from the observation of all this is مَا رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا. So it is again wedded to the same observation, that the wise people are those who draw correct conclusions and inferences from what they observe, and they look for the ultimate goodness of themselves, not temporary gains. Wise people are those who have their contact with their Lord and work according to the dictates of their Lord. Whatever He teaches them, they follow. With the result that when they observe the whole phenomena of nature, they come to the same conclusion with greater force and strength, that all this has not been created without purpose, without a goal. So if it has a purpose and a goal beyond us, then that is more important than to just make benefit out of the temporary gains we can have from our contact with nature. And their concept of their relationship with the nature is much wider than the concept of relationship with nature of ordinary materialistic people. When they think and ponder over creation, over the